Hello, this is just a quick screencast that will teach you a little bit about how the course is organized and how to navigate our Blackboard site to really optimize your performance in the class. This is Professor Libby Bischoff, and I'm just going to walk you through how the course is organized, just so you can get a sense of how we're going to function for the next 7 weeks in this fully online course. This is the Blackboard homepage. This is what you should see when you log in. And this is how the course essentially functions. So when you first log in, and you've already obviously found this page if you found this screencast, but you're going to go to Start Here, Syllabus, and that will take you to a welcome for the class. You should watch this quick video that I recorded welcoming you to the class. You'll be able to download your syllabus here. My contact information, how the course is delivered, the description. Obviously you found this because you're taking the course tour. The learning goals and objectives for the class, the required books, grading and assessment, a little note on netiquette and how to communicate and really express yourself in the class, discussion guidelines, academic integrity postings, and helpful links for any adaptations or accommodations you might need for the course itself. From there, what you really want to do, where you're going to be spending your most of your time in the class, are on weekly materials and the class discussion board. The weekly materials are where everything you need, aside obviously from the assigned books, are found, and they're broken up into the 7 weeks of our class. The dates are here. We always work Monday to Sunday, and that's what all of these weeks represent. And it takes us through weeks 1 through 7. What happens is when you click on the link for the week, it will bring you into the week's materials. You'll see an introduction, sometimes with a little recorded video by me, sometimes with images to think about, weekly objectives, instructor commentary, which will either be a podcast or written instructions for me, or sometimes a little video to watch, the readings that you should be, and course materials that you should be reckoning with for the week. So for instance, Week 1, I have you watching a little episode from Home, the Story of Maine, called The Place Apart. You can click here and be taken to that, looking through a timeline, familiarizing yourself with Maine history online, and then reading an article right here. Any assignments you have for the week will be posted right down at the bottom of the week. And for instance, this week you will be posting your discussion board responses. To post responses to the class discussion boards, which is incredibly important for your participation and your grade in the class, you go over here to the left menu, click on class discussion boards, and each week will have its own separate board. So the first week is introductions. You'll want to answer these 2 questions, introducing yourself, and then answering a question based on the course materials for the week. You will click on here under introductions, and you will create a thread. Just put in, Libby Bischoff introduction is what I would write, put in the introduction, and then you would submit it, right? And you're going to do that for every week. Another thing, there are 2 websites that we'll be using quite a bit. One is Maine History Online, which is essentially an online textbook put out by the Maine Historical Society. This link takes you directly there. Another really helpful Maine site, if you're looking for more information about a place, an author, an artist, or an event, you might want to click on Maine in Encyclopedia and look up what you need to know there. The other thing that we'll be using is a literary map of Maine. This was a website that was put out by the Maine Sunday Telegram a few years ago and has been updated since then. It's a very neat map. I will show it to you here. And what you're going to do, why you need to look at the literary map of Maine, which you can see here, is that you are going to choose, in addition to what we're reading together in class, you are going to choose any one of the books on this literary map to read, to use on your final exam. So you can find the books this way by, say you're really interested in Aroostook County or the Canadian border. You can see books there and their brief descriptions from different parts of Maine. So for instance, you can see C.A. Stevens' Stories from an Old Squire's Farm. Or you could say, oh, well, I really know an author that I like Lois Lowry or Longfellow, or, anyone on this list. Carolyn Shute, The Beans of Egypt, Maine is a terrific novel. Margaret Wise Brown, who has done a lot of children's books, including The Little Island. Ruth Moore, who you are already reading. You're reading The Weir. Helen and Scott Nearing, who are Back to the Landers. Louise Dickinson Rich, who wrote We Took to the Woods, which is another famous Back to the Land. You get the point. There's a lot of, you can read some different E.B. White, including Charlotte's Web or One Man's Meat, which is really his essays on what it's like living on a saltwater farm in Brooklyn, Maine. And so you really have a wide range of things to choose from in terms of picking your own piece of Maine to read. So sometime during the first week of the semester, you're going to want to choose something from this list and then get your hands on it. Either ordering it online, but more than likely just going to get it at your local library. Another recommendation I might make, if you're interested in rural Maine, you could read Laura Beam's A Maine Hamlet. So if you need any help picking something, please don't hesitate to ask me. And really, we're also reading some Sarah Orne Jewett, but we're not reading The Country of the Pointed Firs, which is something you could read as well. So the first week, in addition to looking over these weekly materials and choosing your discussion section, and responding to that, I'm also going to ask you to pick the extra book you need from the Literary Map of Maine, which you'll use on your final exam. I'm going to assign some films throughout the semester. Sometimes I will be able to embed the film right in the weekly materials like I do here, and you can just click on a link and be taken to the film itself, and you can see that here where you can view it or download it. Or sometimes the film will be digitized by the library here, and you'll be able to access it on our course reserves, and there'll be a direct link for you here to get in and to watch a film streaming online. You'll get this, and then you'll be subscribed and be able to watch the film. Things like Empire Grill and other short movies that we'll be watching throughout the semester. Finally, if you need to email me or your class members, you can go here, or obviously you can just do it on your normal email. And another tab that you'll be very interested in is your My Grades. And when you click on My Grades, I'm obviously the instructor, so I don't have personal grades, but your grades on various assignments will appear here. Every time you post on a discussion board, I will grade it and write some feedback. Every time you turn in an essay, I will grade it, write some feedback, scan it, and send it back to you. But all of your grades for the course will be located on My Grades, so you want to check that often. And the other thing you might be interested are online student services, which you can access here. Library, tech support for any issues you might be having with Blackboard, tutoring, research assistant, counseling, financial aid, links to the bookstore, anything you need right on that site. And then Blackboard help, which takes you to some kind of frequently asked questions about learning on Blackboard. So hopefully all of these things will be useful to you, and this will give you a better navigation. But you're really going to be spending most of your time here on weekly materials and then here on class discussion boards. And things are pretty organized by week, by topic. So you want to make sure that you're looking for readings and reading assignments. Everything that you need for particular weeks are going to be located under that week. And sometimes there'll be books that are listed on the syllabus, and sometimes, as I also note on the syllabus, you are going to be reading things that are short articles that you'll download. And so you can see here I'm opening the PDF for this article for the first week, and you'll read it and respond to it. So hopefully this helps you get a sense of how we're going to function here. If you have any questions throughout the semester, please don't hesitate to ask me. If you're having any issues using Blackboard, that's not something to ask me about. That's definitely something to ask the help desk about. But any course material, any functionality of course materials, please feel free to get in touch. So once you've looked over the Start Here syllabus page, contact information, you've taken the course tour, you've watched the introductory video, just go right to the weekly materials and dive in. Just another note, because this is a new class for me, the course will be under construction throughout the semester. So when you start the course, the first couple of weeks will be done and ready to go, but weeks 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 will be being constructed as the class moves along. So they'll always be ready before we get to that week, but I'll be adding things throughout the semester. So don't trust, for instance, if you went on to week 7 now, you wouldn't see it done. So don't trust it until we get there unless I've otherwise told you, or otherwise you've looked at due dates on the syllabus. So again, welcome. This is how Blackboard works for our course, and let's get started.